Afternoon. My name is Nayaswami Padma, and I'm here today to bring you an excerpt from the original teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda, and I'm still sharing out of the book The Path, or The New Path, which is Swami Kriyananda's autobiography, and I'm sharing from the chapter called Renunciation, of things he learned when he lived with Paramhansa Yogananda. Today is Friday, March 11th. Today's excerpt is a little bit longer, so bear with me. Bernard told me of one occasion when a visitor from India came to see Paramhansa Yogananda. The man was received by Sister Gyanamata and had the poor grace to treat her condescendingly, as though in serving her guru she was only the master's servant. Later, inspired by his interview with the master, he apologized to her. In India, he said, we are taught to respect all women as wives and mothers. Forgive me, please, that I failed to pay you that respect earlier. Smilingly, he concluded, I offer it to you now. Sister Gyanamata, in her usual impersonal manner, replied, at least half the people in the world are women. Most of them, sooner or later, become mothers. There is nothing in either fact that merits any special respect. But you may, if you wish, pay respect to the fact that in this life I have become a renunciate. The visitor could only bow, for renunciation of egoic desires and attachments is ultimately the stepping stone for all people, whether married or single, to rediscovery of the divine image within, which alone gives us the importance in the great scheme of things. Well, I have to chuckle when I hear Sister Gyanamata quoted in that way. She was quite the spiritual giant and renunciate, as it is explained here. And it made me reflect on the act of renunciation, the art of renunciation, renouncing. What exactly are we renouncing? Well, ultimately we are renouncing or recognizing, you might say, the reality that we are not material beings. We are not these bodies. We are not these personalities. We are recognizing that nothing in this world, there's a saying that even people who live fondly in this world will say that we come into the world as babes with nothing, and we leave this world with nothing. Not even our own bodies go with us. They remain as a shell on this earthly plane. And so it is that when we recognize that and remember that in every moment of our lives, then we're able to see past the illusion of this personality or that body or this position or that career or this money or whatever it might be. My child, my neighbor, my parent, all the things that we try to claim and possess. We are, shall we say, they're all in escrow. they're all in a holding pattern when we recognize and realize that they are not real. They are not our real essence. We are spirit. And so in this life, what Sister Gyanamata was saying is she was living a life dedicated to uniting her consciousness with that truth. And so for a renunciate, Yogananda, for example, he was an avatar. He was fully liberated. He lived in a very beautiful place, several very beautiful places. He would travel across the country campaigning, offering lectures and workshops and staying in cities for weeks and a month at a time or more. And he would stay in nice hotels, and it wasn't that he was surrounding himself with poverty. Renunciation is not in alignment with poverty. It is in alignment with simplicity. And it is in alignment with, and this is the important point, non-attachment to these things. So we can literally live in the world but not of it. So we can be surrounded by, Yosemite National Park. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful, but it isn't a defined reality. It isn't, in the end, our reality. It's when we are attached to it that we run into problems. And this is true for anything. It can be for our family members. It can be for our careers, for our work. I have good friends who are absolutely in love with nature. But if they find themselves not in nature, then suddenly they're not quite as refreshed or quite as happy. And so it's all things. Of course it's easier and more possible to more quickly experience God in a beautiful flower or in a tall mountain than it might be in something inert. But that isn't the point. The point is our attachment to it, and that we have to define it in that way in order to experience the essence of it. And so that's why this particular example came in the chapter on renunciation. Ultimately, renunciation is the ability not to be attached to any outer forms. So joy to you and blessings on this Friday, March 11th, and we'll see you again on Monday. Have a lovely weekend. And don't forget that this weekend is daylight savings. Blessings to you. Bye-bye now.